Hi, Jason Knott with CE Pro, and today we are talking about landscape lighting with Bruce Kenison, National Sales Director at Garden Light LED. Hi, Bruce.
Hey, Jason, how are you? How's
I'm doing
everything?
great. I'm doing great. Thanks for joining me today. All right, let's jump
Awesome.
right into it. I know you get these questions a lot, so let's really see if we can hone in on these for integrators. How does an AV integrator get started in the landscape lighting business?
Well, I mean, we've been working with AV rep firms, training their staff, everything they need to know about landscape lighting, when it comes to installation, sales, marketing, design. And then what we do is they usually set up the appointment, whether it's a Zoom meeting, GoToMeeting, whatever it may be. And then what we do is we do, the meetings, the trainings with the dealers. It's usually, an hour, hour and a half, going over the product line. So they understand it. We know as a manufacturer, if they don't understand our product, if they don't understand everything's involved, design, selling, marketing, installation, they're not going to have the confidence to go out and promote it. So we work with the rep firms to help train the dealers. And then also what I've been doing, and we've been doing a lot of, I've been going to the tech summits, which has been awesome. Seeing dealers come to the event, but also I've been doing events at my rep firms. So that'll be more like a 3-4 hour presentation, and we'll actually, set up a demo kit, go through the product line, go through a PowerPoint presentation on landscape lighting design. Because to me, the biggest hesitation they have is they understand everything on the technical side. The biggest hesitation is, how do I sell this? How do I market? And also, how do I design it? So we spend a lot of time training them on that. So, once we get them to a certain comfort level, after that, they put in 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, they're relying on you quite a bit. Then after that, they really get confidence and then they're off and running. So
It sounds like the lesson there is for an integrator, don't be afraid to lean on Garden Light LED to really help step you through this process.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said earlier, if we don't get them to a certain comfort level, they're not going to go out and promote it. So it's our job and our rep firms to get them to a certain comfort level. But to me, it's kind of like I always talk about the opportunity. It's, a couple things. One is I tell them all the time, it's your client. You know what I mean? You've worked really hard to build that relationship. They trust you. They like you. Why not sell them other products and services? So, we can teach you how to design, how to install, how to sell, how to market. Okay. But there's no reason why you should be leaving money on the table. And they, last year they were listening and a lot of guys were getting involved. What I'm finding this year is that a lot of guys are like, you know what, as the supply chain issues, they're having a hard time getting products. So now they're more apt to learning other avenues to create revenue. So this year, this spring, I've been getting a lot of more, lack of reluctancy, a lot more enthusiasm to get into the landscape lighting business. So, it's just a great opportunity that they should not leave another opportunity to create revenue for their company.
That's a great lesson. All right, what is the initial investment for an integrator to get into landscape lighting?
Well, pretty much they're going to have all the tools they need. You're going to have to buy some shovels and stuff like that. That's very minimal. But the biggest thing you need to have is 2 things, and we promote this. And then we also offer, when they come to our training, we offer some discounts on these 2 items. But really, I tell them for about $3,000, you can get into the landscape lighting business by buying these 2 items. One is our sales presentation kit. So our sales presentation kit, it's a beautiful case. It comes on wheels and nice handle. You roll it into the client's house. You open up the case, and all of our product, we CNC machine all of our product out of brass, stainless aluminum, or stainless steel. So this case has our most popular fixtures in it, okay, with all different finishes, whether it's stainless aluminum raw, or it could be stainless aluminum with an e-coating of architectural bronze, white or black. It could be the brass or it could be the stainless steel. But it's an opportunity for the integrator to show the quality of the product to their client. It's really, you could have a website, you could have literature, but there's nothing like actually putting a fixture in their hands. And then also there's, like our directional light, which is 80% of your business. It's a compression fit, silicone sealed lens. You want to show that. We have an ant guard on the bottom that protects it from any insect infestation. We have a double gasketed O-ring. We have a driver on the outside. So there's so many features and benefits that you want to go over and show the client. So you're going to be able to do that with the sales presentation kit. Again, an opportunity to put the fixtures in their hands. The second one, to me, is the most important. So that's what we call our showtime closer. Our showtime closer is actually a temporary system that an integrator can set up for their client. Okay, and there's nothing better. I mean, if you're doing an outdoor bar, you're doing a hardscape, you're doing stone walls, it's always a rendering. But with lighting, you can actually show the client what their house can look like with a properly, professionally installed landscape lighting system. So basically what it is, it's a temporary system, transformer, wire, nothing gets trenched, nothing gets buried. Everything's got quick connects on it, very easy to set up. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes to set up a 20 light demo. But what you do is you set the demo up, and two things. You always want to make sure that when it's completely dark, because if you turn it on at dusk, the wow factor is gone. Because what happens is the lights don't look as impressive until it gets completely dark. So you want to wait until it's completely dark. Two is, what I like to do is light up one side of the house and not the other. Because when you light up the showtime closer and one side is lit and the other side's not, they can see, okay, how beautiful my house looks at night lit up and how bad it looks when it's not lit up. Okay, so the showtime closer, the sales presentation kit, those two items are about $3,000, right around there. And if you have those two, you're in the landscape lighting business. And also with the showtime closer, first and foremost, it's there to help you sell jobs, and it's going to sell jobs. And I would say, in my experience, 80% of the time you set up this showtime closer, you're going to sell a job. Also, a lot of times a homeowner will go in, determine that it's only going to be 40 lights to light their house. But once you put the showtime closer up, next thing you know, it's 60, 70 lights. Okay, so it's going to help close a job, but it's also going to help sell more fixtures. And the other thing is, for integrators who are mostly new to landscape lighting, the more you set this up, the more you learn about design. Okay, so first and foremost, it's going to help you close jobs, but secondly, it's going to help you become a better designer. So
do you recommend they leave that showtime closer system set up for a day and come back the next day, or is it something you do the demo and then you pack it up and leave that night?
I think, what I like to do is, after I make the presentation, I turn the lights off, and then they're always like, can you put those back on? And I would like to close the deal right then and there. So I would rather, set it up, try to get a contract signed right then and there. If not, some people like to set it up for the weekend, but I like to try to avoid that, to be honest with you.
Great. All right. So how does landscape lighting blend in with some of the other categories of products that integrators are already providing to the customers?
Well, I mean, first of all, what I say, with landscape lighting with AV integrators, you're pretty much pre-qualifying a customer for a landscape lighting system, because if you have an AV integrator come to your house, you're doing pretty good, right? So they obviously have a beautiful home, architectural, landscape, outdoor living spaces. To be honest with you, anybody who has a home like that, and I say this all the time, and I'm being honest, you're really doing yourself a disservice by not lighting up at night. Because as nice as a house looks during the day, whether it's the landscape or the architecture of the home, when you light it up at night, it looks 10 times better. One thing, I travel a lot for Garden Light LED, and I'm always interested in real estate. And if I go to realtor.com, and it's amazing that now when you go to realtor.com, sometimes the first photo is the house lit up at night because they want to draw you in. And it looks that much better at night than it does during the day. So I don't know if you look at real estate that often, but you'll see that a lot of real estate, the advertisement now is the house lit up at night. Now, the important thing is, a lot of integrators are selling security systems, right? And one thing when we train, integrators, again, first and foremost, you're there to beautify the property and the architecture of the home. But also, it's very, very important to let your client know that you're also going to make their house more secure, because the biggest deterrent to any illegal entry is lighting. Over the threat of anything else, people don't want to be seen. So if you have the most well-hit house on the street, if somebody decides to break into that neighborhood, it's not going to be your house, it's going to be somebody else's. Plus, if they're already selling them a security system, if they have security cameras, the more lighting you have, the better the imagery is going to be. Okay, so it blends really well with what most integrators are selling right now, which is a smart home, beautiful home, and a safer home.
Yeah, that's great advice. So what separates some of the integrators you deal with who are super successful in this category from the rest of the pack?
I think it's the ability and the want to learn, because again, human nature is you're not going to stand behind something, you're not going to promote something if you don't understand it. But if you're willing, what I'm trying to tell most integrators is, listen, guys, again, you have to maximize your relationship with your client, sell more products and services, but they're not going to go out and promote it if they're not confident in it. We provide that Garden Light LED with our rep firms to get you to a certain comfort level. But the guys that are willing to really, make that commitment to get a sales presentation kit, make that commitment for the demo, Showtime closer, come down, not only come to our training, but come down, which we promote, which we'll pay for the airfare. They come down, we pre-qualify them. They come down to our facility for 2 days. We show them how our product's made. They have their lighting coach, which is all of our dealers get a lighting coach. They work with them for a day, and then we actually send them out with some of our better dealers for another day to learn everything about how to core drill, how to put fixtures on homes. So the guys that really want to get into this and educate themselves on it, the guys that do that 5 years from now are going to say, you know what, one of the best things I ever did was get into the landscape lighting business. Because when you look at landscape lighting, it's still in an early growth stage. The opportunity here is just still tremendous.
You mentioned the product quality, you mentioned the training. Tell us a little bit of some of the differentiators between Garden Light LED and other systems that are out there.
Well, a lot of your manufacturers, there's certain factories over in the Far East that make a lot of the fixtures for a lot of manufacturers. So there's not a lot of ingenuity. There's not a lot of attention to detail as far as, making a product better. So we're a fully integrated company. So we have 2 engineers on staff. We're looking at a third, 1 mechanical, 1 electrical. We have a CNC machine. We don't make all of our fixtures, but we make a good portion of them, but we do bring some fixtures in. But we assemble everything in Tampa. We test everything. We burn test everything for 48 hours before we release it. So we have complete quality control. That's why we have a really high quality product. One thing with us is, since we have internal engineers, our mechanical engineer spends over half of his time in our assembly room. And to me, that's the most important process of landscape lighting as far as quality, because that's where you're doing all your crimping, all your heat shrink, all your potting, your attention to detail. If you don't do that, that's where you have your highest rate of failure. So for us, the assembly part is very important. So our engineer is in there, like I said, over 50% of the time, making sure we have SOPs in place to make sure that all the assemblers are following the standard operating procedures correctly, but also working with them to find out how can we do this better. So I guess the thing is, a lot of manufacturers are looking to take money out of our product because we're in this crazy competitive world, while we're always looking to put money back into our product and make it better. So I think that has, and the fact that we have quality control, that we have, engineering, manufacturing, assembly, testing, it's all internal.
And you mentioned at the outset how this is such a good category when so many integrators are maybe sitting on their hands a little bit waiting for product from overseas. I'm assuming it sounds like supply chain is not an issue for you guys.
Yeah, the owner of Garden Light LED, which started in 1996, so we've been doing this for a long time. But he's adamant. It's funny, he walks around the facility making sure procurement, engineering, everybody that's involved, that we have 6 months worth of finished good inventories on our shelves, up to 12 months of components on our shelves. So right now we're in a great position because a lot of people are hearing, it used to be 4 to 6, 8 to 12 weeks. Now you're hearing 8 to 12 months. Pretty much we guarantee, unless it's a special order, which could be, a static colored fixture, a different colored fixture. Pretty much if we get an order in on Tuesday at 2:00, we ship it out on Wednesday. So we have plenty of product because, again, we've been doing this for a long time, and the owner is very adamant of having tons of product on the shelves.
What about the conversation of is this market really more suited for service agreements? Are we going to have situations where landscapers are going to be damaging wires and damaging lights and those sorts of things? They're trimming and plants are going to grow and change, and the beam spread or the color temperature or whatever of the light and the positioning of the light going to need to be changed as the plants grow and change. Talk a little bit about the service part of this.
Yeah, well, my suggestion is I would offer a lifetime warranty on the system as long as they sign the service contract with me. And our fixtures are very durable. They're made out of stainless aluminum, brass, or stainless steel. So they're going to hold up great in any environment, right? But it's kind of like, whether you have roof, you have concrete, you have pavers, you have your car, everything's outside. If you don't maintain it, it's not going to look good after, a certain amount of time. So for me, it's really, really important. I try to encourage all of my dealers to have a service contract signed, just for all the reasons you just said, Jason, because you want to make sure that, the fixture is angled exactly where it's supposed to be. If plant material grows, our directional lights have changeable optics. So if a tree gets wider and that 40-degree optic is not wide enough, you can go back out and change that with a 60-degree optic. So I really encourage all of our dealers to sign a service contract with their client. And like I said, I would offer a lifetime warranty as long as they sign a service contract with me.
All right, a lot of great information here, Bruce, a lot of great tips. Hopefully a lot of integrators recognize that this landscape lighting market is a great category for them to jump into. Thanks for joining CE Pro today.
Well, Jason, I appreciate it. And thanks again and have a great day.